Hey guys! Hey Chirpy, Tinker. Hey Stephen. I think I'm here. Oh good, it's really hot. That's where we're at with this. It's so hot here. I hope it rains tonight. I really do. We've gotta have a storm. I'm dripping wet. I've had probably 3 or 4 cold showers today. It's still, I would think, mid 30s. So I'd say it's still over 90 Fahrenheit here. Um, and it's 8 p.m. so I'm a bit over it actually, but it's warm. Uh, Crazy hot. Hasn't been a very productive week. Thanks, Tinker. Haven't really done a lot. I ended up rebuilding the lathe. We had problems with this ball race. And what I've done, and I thought I had a spare one, I made two, so I have one to show you, but I can't find it. No idea where it is. Made one out of an engineering plastic, like oil impregnated engineering plastic, and put new balls in it. So that's back in the lathe. Everything seems to be working well. It's using a little bit of oil, but that's just adjustment and running. So everything's in a little bit different position because of the new ball bearing. So we'll get there. This time of year it rains probably 2-3 times, probably once a week, at least once a week. It's been really hot for 2 days, so we're going to get a downpour, but it might not be till tomorrow. And when it rains, it's going to rain, so it's going to bucket down. The humidity here is crazy. It's somewhere between 50 and 70%, I would say. Just dripping wet. Everything's wet. I'm oiling machines flat out. We've got all the windows and doors open. So, a bit over it. But it's not really conducive to a lot of workshop time either. Tinker, yeah, I used a we're all over the place here, but we used a P6 oil amid, I think it's called, is a yellow engineering plastic that seems to retain size nicely and machine nicely. It turned out pretty good. I'm really pleased with it. It's all back together. I've been, if we have a look, crazy mock-up here of the gear cutting attachment. I don't know if this is really the answer. We might try and rearrange the camera. His famous last words. Whoa, are you seasick yet? You should be. Hey Raymond. It's 28 degrees and 80% humidity. Yeah, it feels like about 33 here on the Gold Coast. And it probably is, but it's probably not so bad outside. As for this mock-up, I don't know if this is going to be cast or not yet. I really haven't got any idea. Some of it might, a lot of it won't. I don't think it's really the answer, to be honest. I'm not sure about that. We've got this gear here, which goes on the spindle, And then there's a piece here which goes on the bed, just above zero and raining like crazy in New Jersey. I wish it would rain here. A little bit cooler wouldn't hurt either. So there's a pair of tumblers going here, and we're still waiting for these gears. I just ordered them. I probably could have cut them, but it sounds like work. And they were available really cheap. So the tumblers here for reversing, and then this quadrant has three slots in it like this, I hope. And this is adjustable, I hope, up against this gear with idlers, whatever. And that drives through to this one here, which is the pivot point, and that drives the shaft through to the compound. So somehow I've got to make this piece, which is not going to look anything like this when it's finished, because it needs a quadrant on here for the tumblers, and it needs a bearing in here, and it also needs a T-bolt through here with a lever on the back to lock it. So I'm still in the dark a bit, and I've given this a miss. Hey Drew. I've given this a miss today because I'm a bit lost with it, but this is probably going to be just 10mm sheet, probably even aluminium, with a bush pressed in it, and another bush here. I got I don't know if you can see that, the spring detent goes in there, and that locks in two places on the compound. Hey Mark. So it gives us a free wheel position and a lock in the dog clutch engaged position, and there's a lever here as the compound moves forward or along, that's adjustable, and that'll knock this off the dog clutch, so that'll give us an automatic stop. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to use, is probably 12mm aluminium or even a 10mm aluminium. I don't think there's a lot of load on it, Stephen. I didn't see you come in, Machine NZ. G'day, Tommy Gun Machining, hello. So that's coming along pretty nice. I don't know if I've achieved anything this weekend, but we've sort of got some mock-ups. I might go over here and have a bit of a look a bit later on at where all this goes on, if anyone's interested. It's we've only got 19mm between here and here, and 19 here, so 3/4 and 3/4. It's not huge, and they're module 1 gears, so they're not big. We'll have a think about that. I'll probably make something up and see how it looks. Hey Andrew. There must be a lot of people out there watching that don't comment. I'm going to say hello. Interact with us a little bit, even if you haven't got anything to sort of contribute. It's kind of cool to know you're there. Hey Peter and Alistair, g'day. So that's where we're at with that. And the second Peter, g'day. That's probably of no consequence, and it might change completely. Let's straighten this camera up and move you around here past the oven and all the junk. Empire of dirt. Down past the lathe. We can do with a light. How about a light? Could try that. Oh, that's awesome, Steve. And morning, Thomas. We've got a floor fan going here, which is why there's no room for a tripod. This has got a dovetail in the end here, or not a dovetail, it's got a T-slot right in the end there. Hey Duncan, this hopefully fits straight on there like that. So if we have a look, that's the theory, and this should go on here somehow, which is also an excellent theory. If we go back here, I've added this piece here. We drilled this out during the week and we fitted this with the dog clutch and this pin, which I hardened today with the 2 grooves in it for the ball detent. So the thrust bearings in and fitted. If I can find the second one we made, I might show you next week, but this week I haven't got a clue where it is, to be honest. I'm sorry about that. This just pops on here and it locks in that position, which is out of gear. And in that position, which is in gear. And that moves the compound. So the way that works, no, it's just polished cast iron. Hey Phil, g'day. So this goes probably something like this. And this bush goes right through this quadrant. So that's sort of how that's going to work and how it's going to look, hopefully, with the gears down here, and then that drives up onto this other shaft. I'm going to muck up everything here. This other shaft and the gear on here through here, hopefully with the tumblers in here and a lever here probably to select forward and reverse and out of gear. So it's quite an undertaking and quite complex. The new thrust bearings in here, all pretty jolly nice. I'm really pleased with that. So that's back together. We made one out of plastic. This has a bolt. There'll be a plunger up and down here, Tinker. I get your question now. And then it's got a lever in the back with an over center lever. Basically just pull the lever to lock it in tight or push it down. So that's the idea. It just sits on the bed. These are just kind of templates at the moment. I'm really not even sure if this is where it's even going to go. As you can see, I've already chopped this up and moved it once and messed around with it a fair bit. So I'm not sure yet where that's going to end up. It could be completely different. Good question about the friction here. This piece I made here is not much good. As Robin Renzetti said it would. It's a bit of a pain, but it should slide like this, and I'm going to have to find something better for here, and I have that sort of mapped out, so we're going to do that. I like the plastic because it's nice and quiet and there's no rattle in it, but I'm going to have to make a new one here. So fingers crossed this will slide better. If this is fastened on the end, this should slide easier than the detent. I hope. We're guessing a lot of this stuff. Spot on, Chirpy. Journeyman, yeah. This is the clutch fits together, the two halves, this one and this one's square. If we move back down and lathe a bit, you can see this one here is square. It's got 4 cutouts. And that locks in or it disengages. So I guess that's what I would call a dog clutch. I hope I've got the right name for it. Probably bronze would be really good. This is stainless steel. It's not, I've tried to keep the diameter down as much as I can. And that's why I've used the plastic, because if I make a bronze one to put in here, and probably I will, but it means putting a square in the middle of it too. Like that. This is all subject to change, and we might completely redesign all of this before we finished. Don't expect this to be a final prototype by any means. I'm really pleased with this, and I'm pleased that we've got this hooked up. Probably I'm going to make a clip-on cap to go over here so we don't catch our knuckle on the dogs going past. But apart from that, I'm really pleased with that. We will see in the fullness of time what we actually end up with. But this will be something like this, I hope. I've got this picture in my head. I'm not sure that it's going to be anything like that, but I would really like to make this big enough to put some sort of a guard on the outside and a door on it. I'm not sure that's going to happen yet. We're trying to work that into it. The Shoblin one that I've seen doesn't have a dog clutch, and it probably doesn't need it. You've just got to put an idler in there to run backwards. And that's probably smart. It doesn't have tumblers, I mean. The Shoblin one I've seen, we'll start that sentence again. It doesn't have tumblers to reverse it. The gears come off here and around the top, and it's got a little cover and a door and everything, and it looks really nice and neat. Whether I'm going to just completely redesign it and go with that, I'm not sure. I would like to put tumblers in it for reversing, especially for power feed, but at this point I'm not sure about it, because I'd really like a guard on it too. I think this needs a guard. Hey Cam. Yeah, well done Stephen on the 1,000 subscribers. Well done Cam on the keeping up the momentum on that crazy machine you're building. Taking that on board, Drew. Thanks for your comment on that. I have actually addressed that problem, and everything's just a little bit out of phase. So really appreciate your input on that. It's that was something that I hadn't thought of. So thanks heaps for that. Really, it's nice to have someone who's been there and done that. So that's where we're at. I have, surprise, surprise, in a fit of craziness. Thanks for that, Tommy. I've got a evil plan there. We'll see as it comes together, but I have seen one that's fully adjustable for mesh, so I'm really, really looking forward to making something like that. I think I left... Are we back? Hence the redesign, Tommy. I like that. So check out Tommy Gunn's crazy gearbox maker. If you think this is crazy, it's pretty simple compared to his. So this is where I'm at. In a fit of craziness, I've actually ordered some drip oilers. These are good, and everyone says, where's the caps? Where's the caps? Yeah, we dropped out, and I'm sorry about that. We're back, I think. I have actually got caps for these, but they never ever go on. They sit on the bench mostly. So I need to do something about that. So I've ordered oilers. So that's where we're at with that. It's been one of those weekends, actually, one of those weeks. We've had this all in bits and back together. Really, really, really pleased with this thrust bearing. Everything seems to work nicely. So time to move on. Hopefully next weekend's going to be a little bit cooler because I'm back to work tomorrow. Hardened and tempered this today, about 57 RC, half hour at 1450 Fahrenheit. This is 780 degrees Celsius, and then quenched in brine, and 2 hours at about 590 something Fahrenheit. So that's pretty nice. That's just where we need to be. That should be pretty tough and not wear out with that detent clicking back between those two grooves. So that was a job I did today. This is my nemesis over here, is this jolly programmable electronics. Really not particularly good with this sort of thing. Bought some stainless steel foil. This is the remains of it after the heat treating job. And the heat treating turned out really well, but the programming is a bit hit and miss. It's good to have time. It's just a pity that we have interruptions like machine breakdowns. This project's progressing. We've got the spindle in. I haven't done a lot here. Marcus Wilson, JB from Oz, he cut some dividing plates in just 3mm acrylic. They should be good, I think. They're a bit fragile, but I don't think they're ever going to break, and they're not big diameter. They're only 100mm, 4 inches. So they come in the mail this week. Thanks, JB. Really appreciate that. But this will go on the worm there, and there's a lot of little bits to make in this. But next job's the shaft through here to bolt this on with 3 countersink screws and a little spigot sticking out a little bit to put the arms on, etc, etc, etc. And we've got a completely redesigned one of these that I've printed again just to make sure everything clears. That goes on there, and that's what the arm or pivots on. So some work happened on this, but not a whole lot. JB also sent, check out his channel, he also sent a couple of scraper gauges, which are pretty cool. Hit him up for one and a sticker if you're interested in scraping. You've got radius gauges here. That's and a 1 square inch or 25mm square points per inch gauge. So you've sent them as well. They're a really nice job actually. They're nicely laser cut. Tinker and Chirpy, get out of my head. That's something I could do. This is a lot of holes to drill, and I'm trying to get away with not doing that if I possibly can. But if we've got to make some aluminium plates, that's it, 29 hours. What I'm probably going to do is make an aluminium backing plate for them. And I don't think that they're going to move much or wear out if you don't trace the point over the plastic and click, 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 and then they might. But we'll see how we go with that. They seem to be okay, and I think they'll stand up pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with them. Oh, Cheffy, I remember you made them too, so they've come. They're pretty pleased about that. He also said this is part of a box that he sent a kit for way back, probably 12 months ago, for my 7-inch surface plate I made. Never finished the box because I lost one of these. I've got that now, so hopefully when the weather cools I can get that glued up and finished and ready to go. There's going to be some cool videos in that. So that, in a nutshell, gentlemen, is why I've gone for laser cut acrylic. Trouble is with being sort of a person who orders at work is that you get access to the tool catalogue. Picked up a new file card, been looking for a decent file card for a while. This one come from the jewellery supply house. Pretty pleased to get that. So that's a new addition. Something, can you believe, I never had. And some polishing buffs for the Dremel I bought too. And of course my engraving vise, there's a video up about that. We've done quite a bit of modification to that. It's not finished yet, but it's a lot better than it was. So that's the project. In the meantime, I'm making a slotting attachment or an internal keyway attachment for the shaper, which we need to cut a slot in this gear and a few other wheels and things. I have actually ordered a 3mm brooch for all these bits on this quadrant, because there's a lot of bits that are going to need bushes and spaces and things that are going to need keyways in them. So we might do that with a brooch, get them all the same. Take care, Duncan. So that's where we're sort of at with that. I've been doing a little bit of O-gauge restoration, as you can sort of see. There's a clockwork motor over there. There's a LMS engine here. There's bits everywhere. So I usually just use something else too, or a block of wood or whatever, chirpy, but file card's kind of nice. It's a luxury. I got one. Also, Summer Bash announcement is imminent. I believe it's about to drop. I'm not sure if it's going to be this week or not. I think there's still some finalisation to do. But if you're going, seriously consider it. It's worth a trip. I'm doing a raffle giveaway probably, or just a gift from Stan. If it's anything like the last one, he won't want to leave it. Which is the snow globe roundel with a girl. I don't know if you've seen that on social media, but I've just put the blue paint on today, so we've got a base coat on. There's still a lot to do. As time progresses, we'll see some of that. And that's going with me. I'm heading off. Drew, I've committed, I guess. I'm on the whiteboard without a blue star, so it looks like I'm going. Getting there is probably not going to be tight, but it's going to be careful. So I'm going to make it a priority, and I think we can get there without too many problems. If I can pick up some overtime at work, it mightn't hurt. Or an extra day. And probably I had hoped that there was going to be a project that I was going to be selling or trying to market to help get me there, but I don't think it's going to happen with that sort of turnaround yet. So keep you posted on that one. No, don't. Email me if you like, Drew. Email me, but I'm not having a complaint about that. I'm going to get there, and I look forward to going, and it's a highlight, and it's an awesome thing to do, and you should all do it if you can. It's just time and other things are... You've got to make a balance sometimes, and some things have got to go. But that's one thing that I'm going to keep. So that's where we're at. This is still at 37 degrees, this oven. I don't know if you can hear the fan running. The fan will go while it's plugged in until it drops down below a certain temperature. So it's got fan cooling, and even if you take the processor out, it's got fan cooling. That's kind of an update. That's where we're at with that. There's a million things happening. The place looks like a bomb's hit it, and I apologise for that. We're getting there, I think. And it's just too hot, really, to do much except sort of go jump in the river and come back and have a cold shower and then go jump in the river again. Is kind of where we're at with that. Baked beans on toaster cam. That's not a bad thing. It's a strengthening experience for them. You probably should market that correctly. You'll get away with it. They will be stronger people for it. So it's things are tight for everyone, and I appreciate that. Those of you who do help with this channel, it's amazing. But more than anything, having your support, having people waiting when I log on to do a live stream, have people who are interested in it enough to give me feedback on some of these crazy projects. It's worth more than anything. There's the crazy microscope guy from Germany. Busted. Um, there's some really cool summer bash stickers. If you collect stickers, there are some pretty cool summer bash stickers. You've got to buy 2 bottles of Anchor Lube to get them, I believe. You might like to check out the Barzy Industrial website about that, but I'm probably going to order my 2 bottles of Anchor Lube because I really want the stickers, and they're limited edition things. This isn't working. I think we're good, Raymond. I think we're going to live with these. I'm probably going to, getting back to these, I'm probably going to put these on an aluminium sheet, just a 3mm aluminium backing sheet. It might be a really good idea just to stop them flexing, but I'm not sure yet. I think they're fantastic, Stefan. I think that they will be, they'll be just the thing. Got to make a shaft for it next. Don't know if there's much else really happening. I'm probably nearly going to call that a night. Really appreciate you all sort of being there. It's awesome to have a community that spends a little bit of time in my shop and gives me feedback on all the things that I'm doing. I've said that, but I'm going to say it again. So I'm going to say over and out with this. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of these other guys that are in the chat. They've got amazing channels. They do some really cool stuff. Go and check them out. And more soon.